One, at this time, I'd ask you to put your cell phone to silent, or vibrate, and I'd like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, can you do roll call, please?
Andrea Voorhees.
Present.
Mr. Paul is absent. Mr. Ruggles.
Here.
Liz Smith.
Here?
Mike Roman.
Here.
Mr. Lilly's here. Mr. Cowell.
Here. Looking for a motion for approval of the agenda?
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda with a minor change in it, that we take item A, new business, and item D as the first two items, so that our department heads can leave if they so wish.
I'll support that.
I have a motion, I have support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Moving on. Item number 5, public comment. You'll have 3 minutes to state whatever you would like to state. Generally, items that are not on the agenda. Did anyone at this time have a public comment? Seeing none, moving on. Consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which is a list of bills, revenue expenses, and a variety of different reports throughout the township. I have a motion to approve. Looking for support? Support. I have support from Mr. Ruggles. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Thank you. Item 7, minutes. A, approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting, January 21st, 2020.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes, sir.
Could you just announce those appointments?
Oh,
that,
I beg your
you
pardon. We talked about that earlier. I beg your
thank
pardon. On our consent agenda, now I gotta find it. We had a few individuals that are gracious enough to dedicate their time to the community on a variety of different boards that we have. And if you give me 1 second, I will pull that up. I beg your pardon. Well, it's after the fact. We already approved it, so I know. You can't talk about it if it's on the agenda, but after the fact, we can talk about it. For some reason, I am having difficulty locating that page. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Okay, we appreciate persons that come forth to help our township, the Building Code Board of Appeals, Fire Code Board of Appeals, and the Property Maintenance Board of Appeals. The members are Mr. Bruce Johnson, David P. Smith, Jeff Jones, Mike Powell, and John Petrip.
Priced up.
Priced up, thank you. And our alternates are Cliff Sieber, our professional engineer in our town, and Anthony Miller, who is a licensed builder in our town. I would like to thank all of them for coming forward to serve on the board as needed. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me, Mr. Clerk. Okay, moving on. Item 7A, approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of January 21st.
Mr. Supervisor, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 21st, 2020.
I have a motion to approve the minutes of the 21st. Looking for support?
Support.
I have support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it. Item 7B, approval of the minutes of the special board meeting of January 29th, 2020.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from January 29th, 2020.
I have a motion to approve the minutes of the special board meeting of January 29th, 2020.
I'll support that.
I have support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it. Thank you very much. Item number 8A, public hearing, show cause hearing for a dangerous building, 1337 Park. This building has been before us before, and we have now moved it into the show cause. I have a letter here from our building official, who at this time I will state what's going on with in his absence. He's unable to attend the 18th meeting, but he wanted to make aware of some of the issues. We are moving forward with the dangerous building show cause hearing for 1337 Park. The owner of the property, Mr. Buchanan, I believe, has now followed through with the requirements of the judgment set forth by dangerous building officer Bruce Johnson. This property is in great disrepair, failing foundations, failing roof structure, failing floor systems, plumbing, heating, electrical service, and more. The house has not been occupied for at least 15 years. Furthermore, the building department receives calls about this property from frustrated residents and neighbors on a regular basis. It is my recommendation that the Township Board move forward with the judgment of demolition of the structure. Okay.
Just from a procedural posture, if I can. So you have a dangerous building ordinance and you have procedures that have been detailed for the staff to follow. It's my understanding Sherry's here to discuss it if you have any questions, but they followed every step of the way from the original notice all the way through this board scheduled the show cause hearing. The purpose of this hearing is to either approve, deny, or modify the order of the hearing officer that you should have. And I believe the hearing officer, maybe you should explain what the hearing officer's order is so that this board can decide whether they want to approve, deny, or modify that order. But that's after the public hearing, that's the decision that this board needs to make.
Thank you. His order was to either fix up the property there were certain timelines to apply for a building permit, begin construction. None of those were met, so if those weren't met, then it was to demolish the building. So that's what we're looking for now.
Was there a deadline for the repairs before demolition, and was there a deadline for him to demolish?
Yes, there was a deadline for him to demolish as well.
And has that passed?
I'd have to look at it, but I believe it has, so.
Okay. At this time, do you have the date on that by chance in the file?
Yeah, I can look that up.
Okay. So we're going to go,
We just wanted to lay
Right,
the
we wanted to get
groundwork and
that
then
out.
open the public hearing.
so before we go into public hearing, we'll kind of get a couple little pieces of information here.
Pardon?
Purchase agreement is signed too.
Yeah, everything's, they got a copy of the purchase agreement. When they signed, they did, I gave it to Nick Spencer.
Demolished by October 15th, 2019.
October
15.
15th,
2019.
2019. Okay, very good. Thank you. At this time, I would like to enter into our public hearing. I'll take a motion to, make a motion to enter into public hearing. Roll call vote.
Second.
I beg your pardon?
I'll second that.
I'll second that. Yes, thank you. Roll call vote.
Andrea Voorhees,
Yes.
Scott Ruggles,
Yes.
Liz Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Roman,
Yes.
Mr. Lowy votes yes. Rick Cole,
Yes.
Mr. Paul.
We are now in public hearing where comment can be made regarding 1337 Park. If you are going to speak, you need to identify yourself clearly for the court, for the recorder, and we will go from there.
John T. Hokenem.
My name is Conrad Balcom on behalf of Terry Mock.
Yeah, I have sold this property to Terry and Conrad here, and I have, they're the ones that own the property, so they bought it as is, and I have the contract signed. I gave a copy of Nick this last contract I had signed that I don't own it no more, and so it's their property, so I think we'd have to change the tear down dates because they've agreed to buy it as is, and they're going to take care of it.
What are we? We are a franchisee of Home Investors. I don't know if you heard of us or not. We rehab 40 to 50 properties a year. We have the resources to have this property rehab after closing within the 5 to 7 months. Okay, we have the contractors, the builders, everything we need to get this property done. But we just trying to make sure everything is good before we go forward with this. That's all. I got a pamphlet on a little more about what we are about. Home Investors. Can I approach the street?
Yeah, I gave the contract signed when to Nick Spencer last month. So that I didn't own anymore. He says we had to come here today, so here I am. I'm a senior citizen, and I got a fixed income. I'm 72, and I don't have the funds like they do. I'm on a fixed income, so that's why I had to sell to them because I couldn't, do all the repairs that Nick Spencer wanted. So I sold it to these guys.
Counselor?
We should
Right.
let public comment.
All right, we'll
Public
go
comments.
through. Any other public comment on this parcel? Any neighbors or anything? You have anything more to say, sir?
No, I just wanted to let you guys know that, like I say, we're a franchisee, and we have the resources to get this done within like 5 to 7 months. And that's basically it. Yeah, you a pamphlet of our situation, you know. That's about it.
So you haven't closed on the property yet?
No, we set up to close, but we don't. The attorney advised us to come here first because we don't want to do this deal and then y'all come tear the property down.
Right.
You know, so
Have it all come undone.
Right, right. So we just need to be certain.
You understand that there's a pretty extended history. This house has been in bad shape for a very long time.
We already looked at the property, had the contractors look at it and everything.
And the township obviously has gone through the process and can order demolition, because this has been going on for so long.
That's what we found out, but that's why I'm here.
I'm just trying to help you understand where they're coming from
Oh, I
when they make a
understand totally.
decision. And what you're telling them now is not only do you want them to delay their decision, but you want them to delay 5 to 7 months on top of what they've already delayed.
Well, I mean, it's a process. When you get in the house in that kind of shape, you have to have contractors, you got to have the foundation thing, everything checked out, and you got to get the work done. I figured 5 to 7 months was a timely fashion to get the place brought all the way up, ready to put on the market.
Do you have an estimate on how much you think you'll have to spend to fix it?
I don't have that here with me, but I think Terry said around about 70 or 80,000.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure on the exact number.
Okay, just a ballpark, yeah.
I had a contract for the foundation work done before this all went down, where I found out I didn't have enough money to finish it. And for the foundation work was $17,000 just for that. So I gave them a copy of that, my contract, to have Rapid Dry fix the foundation. And Nick was there when I had that, the contractor look at it. So he okayed it, but he wanted to get me a good contractor. Well, I was running out of money. So I already put 16 grand in the roof 3 years ago. So
What would be your anticipated closing date?
I think, when was the closing? He said upon this, if he said everything was good.
I'm not sure. Yeah, he was.
I'm gonna say 3 weeks.
Yes.
And I've got the building, it's totally empty now.
Is-
I got a few things left. I've emptied the whole building, getting ready, anticipate for them. Every twice a week I've been going down with some workers to help empty the house out.
I just have a couple more questions. Do you anticipate the house will then remain vacant once you close until the repairs are made?
Yes.
Oh, couldn't it?
And,
It would have to be.
but you would enter into some sort of agreement for safety reasons with the township, or some sort of, the township would need some assurances that it's gonna be vacant if in fact they decide to go forward. That's just one comment. My next comment is, if this is and I don't know the status, so it's something you're gonna have to look into, if this is a legal non-conforming use, or legal non-conforming structure, and the repairs that you're gonna make are in excess of 50% of the SEV, you could have issues. You might not be able to continue a legal non-conforming use if that's the case. And those are things that you would have to, I don't know, Sean, if you're prepared to even discuss that today, but
I don't know what the SEV is in this house, but if it's getting ready to be torn down, I can guarantee you that based on the numbers we've heard today, they would have to go to the ZBA to get a variance.
so they would have to go to the ZBA to get a variance in order to continue a legal non-conforming structure
To improve a legal non-conforming structure that is,
in excess of 50%.
right, that is so dilapidated that it's become a dangerous building.
Probably is the case.
And there is no guarantee. They actually, I'd be surprised if,
So you're saying this
I'd
is
be
something that
surprised
has to
if
be
it
done
wasn't.
before the closing, or?
No,
Well,
that would be after.
You're buying, I can't give you legal advice, this is something you should talk to your lawyer about, but if you're buying as is, this is gonna be inherited.
Okay, what did you saying this is, so I can write it down? I need to,
Legal non-conforming.
legal now.
We're not
It is, are we sure it's a legal
we're not sure
non-conforming
that
structure?
it is that, but it could be.
it does not, it really, yeah, I think, I'm pretty certain it is, because it's on a
Lake lot.
substandard
We have
lot.
attorney looking into the house, so. I mean,
So, but then have your attorney look into the legal non-conforming status of the structure and any impediments that you might have, that you might run into in trying to rehab the structure.
I have not received any phone calls from anyone on that subject.
And it's in our ordinances, so, and if he calls the planning director, I'm sure Sean will take the time
Nick
to
Spencer, right?
explain that.
Nick Spencer.
Was that the planning director?
No, Sean O'Neill
Oh,
is the
Sean,
planning
this guy
director.
right there. Nick is, okay.
This is the other structure.
You get one of your cards, sir?
I don't have one with me, but I can
Give him one then.
get one.
Oh, this is,
This is Round Lake Road, Sherry.
Oh, you just have to.
Hard.
And it's of the structure, not of the total. So there's a breakout of the property value in the structure. It's the SEV of the structure. So there's no way. That's basically
I think I get her.
the house would have to be worth $140,000 for it to. No, it'd be worth far more than that. 50%, right? 70 would be the SEV on a house that's
That'd
worth
be worth
140,000. There's just no way. It'd have to be worth well over $200,000.
Buyer here.
well, I would just have your attorney look into those issues if that's your intention, assuming the township board would entertain an extension of the demolition, but, I mean, I'm sorry.
Are we allowed to comment now, or are we
Well,
waiting till after
we're
public
still in
hearing?
public hearing, so.
Well, no, you could, nobody else
Well,
wanted
that's
to.
true, but I technically was gonna. I make a motion to exit public hearing.
Support.
A motion support, all in favor?
Aye.
We are now out of public hearing. Okay, Mr. Roman.
Mr. Hukana, you came in here and you told us the property was sold, but it's not sold.
Well, he's the buyer.
But you didn't sell, it's not sold.
It's under option.
Yeah, we haven't closed yet. You're
So,
right.
reason
okay,
why we
so you
didn't-
haven't closed.
No,
They
the
didn't wanna
reason why
close-
we did close because we don't want to make a bad decision like our attorney said. We can
Right.
come out here.
Sir, your
find
first
out.
name again?
My name is Conrad Balcom. I'm here on behalf of Terry.
Conrad, can I ask you something?
Yes.
If this board decided not to order the tear down, would you be willing to put up money on deposit with the township? In that, if this house is not repaired as you say it will be, in a certain amount of time, the township could then use that money to tear it down?
What kind of money would y'all be asking for?
Well, I'd like to ask the board what they feel might be the right number, if the board is even
I would,
So you're talking about the cost of demolition?
cost of demolition, correct? And I don't know what that would be.
Give or take 10,000.
15,000.
15, yeah.
Yeah, would you be willing to put up $15,000?
Max 10.
I really need
One-
to talk
one at
to
a
my
time here.
partner to discuss that, mainly about that. But like I said here, home investors, as you, we are a big company. We don't play
Do
around.
you want to call your partner? If you want to just
Yeah.
take a minute.
I can just
Go
take
right
a-
ahead.
Okay, all right.
go out in the hallway and give them, and what this would be, just so we have a clear and concise understanding of it is, it would act as an assurance type of bond.
Okay, now
So
what are
that
you asking for? Now, the amount?
$15,000, okay? And that would be the amount that we would hold on deposit as we go through this process to make sure that we have the assurances that that building can be demolitioned.
Okay.
And when would we want that?
An alternative, and I don't know, I know Sherry would kill me for saying it. An alternative is to postpone the show cause hearing one more month, get him to work with his lawyer, get him to talk to Sean about what it's gonna take, and come back next month with an agreed upon amount between the lawyer and the township before any decisions are made.
Well, we can go.
It's an option.
It's an option.
Well, that's the reason I didn't close. I was going to close, but because of this issue, they said, we want to talk here before. And they talked to their
And
lawyer.
that's completely understandable.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's why I
the-
thought it was closed, but he says we have to go, they want to talk to you first before they did closing.
And the reality is, it's a dangerous building, whether it's done on your watch or on the next person's watch. At this point, it's a
Well,
dangerous.
I don't have the assets to do this. That's the reason why I did the numbers. I mean, everybody spent 16 grand on the roof, and it just, it's just too much on a fixed income. I couldn't get a loan.
Yes, Mr. Lilly.
A couple of questions in regards to the property. Do we know whether this is a property that would have to be now hooked to the sewer?
I believe they're within 200 feet of the sewer. I would have to check. That may be a consideration.
I believe it's on a street that requires that.
Yeah, there are some peculiarities over there, but I believe it could be within 200 feet of the main.
There's a new,
Also-
new construction just.
Yeah, just
almost
on the street, yeah.
Next door, that's right there. in Water.
So also, I'm going to assume from what I'm reading that it's been 15 years since the home has been occupied, so we're probably talking about a new well. Has anybody furnished any cost estimates to the building department in regards to itemizing what potential cost of rebuilding this are going to be?
You know, I think Nick probably has a general idea what it could cost, but, you know, there was, the first thing was to shore up the foundation, you know, and then it gets into the well and the sewer connection and all that, so.
But part of the process that this gentleman was supposed to follow since the last dangerous building hearing is to submit some appropriate criteria to the building department as far as the building department looking at the feasibility and knowing what costs are, to examine those costs and see if they're within the realm of what we're really talking about or in excess of. So
Right.
nothing's been given to us to
It
show what
wasn't,
those.
I don't think Nick felt it was appropriate to what we were asking for, to be able to start to fix it up, and the beginning was to shore up the foundation of it.
I just want to make sure, as far as one board member, and I know Mike brought up the 15,000, but I'm just looking at the information that was provided to us and without any facts of what kind of money that is going to take based on a review of our people that has not been present. I don't see any reason for delaying this issue, so.
I believe
It's
also
my
that
opinion at this
it's
point.
been more of a summer cottage, so I don't know what type of furnace and all the different things that need to be brought up to date in there.
Well, they're gonna go ahead and make it a year-round livable place, that's what they told me.
Permanent
So
home.
it's gonna be a year-round house.
Okay, I talked to my partner. He says no problem for the $15,000, you know, hold. So he said after the closing date, 7 months. Okay.
Yeah, you would have, you know, once we could work the details out, but once the certificate of occupancy was be issued.
Who
it
will we
meant-
be dealing with on this so we'll know?
Well, you'll be dealing with community development.
You got the pen?
Go here. With community development.
Which would be Mr. Sean O'Neill
Okay, I got him.
and, pardon?
There it is, this card.
Okay.
Okay, right. That's fine. That's fair and equitable. Mr.
Conrad, you're aware there may not be a furnace in that house.
Oh,
He
we
knows
are-
that already.
We already
Okay,
went
it
through the whole
probably
house.
needs to hook up to the sewer system. That's a
We already know that.
extremely
Yeah.
costly maneuver. Okay.
Okay.
All that.
I think what we should do at this time, knowing what you know, that we will probably require some sort of surety money. I believe what you need to do is to get together with your partner and come up with a comprehensive timeline and submit it to planning and community development, community development and building, and they'll kind of start to work through it. And we're gonna have to have something that's gonna be pretty much gospel, okay?
Okay.
And then that way, if we can take a look at that, we'll postpone this hearing and try to
So
see if we can come together.
Okay, we need to do this before we close on the property, right?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Okay.
I would
you
recommend.
talk to your lawyer about that.
I'm quite sure he's gonna say
We're
that.
just, what the township board, they're trying to help you. Because as you know, they could order demolition today.
Okay,
And if they're considering delaying it for you, they want action on your part. And that would require an agreement in place that I would work out with your lawyer about that money that needs to be deposited. And you will need to do your due diligence in talking with the planning
and that's
director
Sean O'Neill, right?
about any legal non-conforming uses and what could happen, as well as water and sewer. And the supervisor's also recommending you put a cost estimate and some sort of timeline in place. So you're gonna have some homework in order to earn what you're asking the board to do.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Would it,
I think we should table it until next month, March
We'll
17th.
postpone.
Lisa, would it be fair to ask them to consider temporary measures? At least our phone calls from the neighbors are escalating about the concern of the state of the structure. It's been broken into before. They say that there's animals in and out of there, so if part of that, could they have a plan to secure that so that's not happening?
The whole house has been sealed. No more animals can get in since I fixed the roof. Because there's no issue with that no more.
Are the doors and windows all?
Everything's,
So I can send my code enforcement officer out there tomorrow, do an inspection on the outside,
well, the outside has all windows all the way around it and boards.
but there's nothing broken.
Nothing broken. I got, there's 2 windows up, or 3 windows upstairs that face the lake that aren't boarded up. I got boards ready to do that. If you want to board that up, I'll go do that.
And that's part of what you can ask them to do in order to earn your consideration, is to meet with
Secure
the
the
building
building.
department to make
Okay.
sure it's secured.
Okay.
Now, if we table this, we're basically just delaying everything 30 days, right?
You're
There'll be
delaying
no
it-
closing.
You're
There'll be
delaying
no-
it so that they could do the homework and make a decision, and you can make a more informed decision.
Yeah, I understand that. It's just everything gets, delayed.
A plan of action.
I can't do nothing until it's out of my name.
And
right?
I understand your situation, sir, that it's an asset that you have that you're trying to get something out of versus having it cost you.
Right, that would have cost me.
And I get it, okay? But you also have to understand where we're coming from, that it's been going on for so long.
I
That
understand, but
we
he,
have to have an end to this.
it's on his shoulders now. That's
And
my
if this
point.
gentleman and his organization are a means to an end, and they bring a nice home back on the block and raise the
Exactly.
value, and the neighbors appreciate it, then we will appreciate that. So I'm going to make a motion that we postpone until next month.
Do I have to come back next month, or do I wait till since?
Would recommend that you be somewhere around.
Well, if you want me here, I'll be here.
I think
it's-
the answer to that depends on whether or not you sell it by next month. If you still own the property, you would need to be here.
Okay, so as long as, if we close, then it's up to him.
As long as that deed is in your name, you're gonna need to be
Right,
here.
right.
Okay, when next month will we be back
It'll
here?
be
17th.
17th, March 17th.
Tuesday, 7 o'clock again, right?
Need a second?
So Lisa, just for the record, you've through this, you've held the show cause hearing. So there's letters, there's been all this noticing done by the building department. That's not required for the next meeting, just to be clear. So on the record, because they had to post at the property, they had to mail out a bunch of certified letters and stuff. So they're not going to go through that
The
again.
property owner is aware, and anybody who had any interest was
Right.
aware it was scheduled for today.
I just wanted to say that for the record because they have already done what they're required to do. So the tabling of this doesn't require this to all be renoticed and all this other process to have to,
The
right,
show cause hearing has been held.
right.
We'll postpone until 3/17. I'm making a
I'll
motion.
second.
A second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it,
No.
thank you.
I'm going to vote no, Mr. Supervisor.
Very good.
For the reason, as stated before, that this property has been vacant for 15 years. We have, I don't know how many properties, 2 or 3 already that have been way past the deadline for our show cause hearings, and I'm in favor of taking action on this tonight, so my answer is no.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Okay. Moving on. Thank you, gentlemen. You're all set.
Thank you.
We look forward to hearing from you very soon.
Okay, if it's not closed, I'll be with him. That's for sure.
New business 9A, request
you.
to approve.
If I could just
Thank
make one
you.
comment, let our guests know that they can see this meeting in its entirety in case they missed any information.
Oh, yes, okay. You can always go to our website and watch one of our meetings.
Here.
And there's the history of the meetings. It's also,
Is it on this paper, the website?
it should
The township website, yeah.
It's at the top, White Lake, TWP.com.
got it?
White Lake, yeah, I see it.
It's on our YouTube channel.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, gentlemen. Moving on, new business 9A, request to approve a 2020 purchase for 2 police department administrative vehicles. Chief?
Oh, I think Rick should have their contact info.
That's their contact.
Oh, good, okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is in reference to purchase of 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredos for admin vehicles. There's price points below, as you guys see. My recommendation is to go with that. They're a local dealer. While they're not the cheapest or inexpensive, they are a local dealer, and it's only several $100s more.
This is just your typical turnover that you have every year?
It is.
And these are obviously budgeted vehicles
Yep.
of our,
Yes.
part of our fleet turnover. You're looking at a difference of $104 a vehicle.
Approximately, yes.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Thank you for going local.
Okay, and then I will seek a motion, one way or the other.
Make a motion to approve the request of the fire chief for 2 vehicles purchased from ZOT.
Wear any hat when you need to, Dan, I'll tell you.
Terry, that's the police.
Police chief, Dan, Terry. Police
I'm
chief.
sorry.
I've done it myself.
That's all right. I've done it. We have a motion, looking for support. Support from Andrea. All in favor?
Support.
She said.
Double support.
Double support.
I appreciate
All in
the
favor?
support.
Aye, ayes have it.
Thank you very
Chief.
much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
You tried.
I thought it
Also, we're gonna go to item D,
Dang, Andrea.
and that was gonna be the first reading of fee ordinance amendments ORD 129. Counselor?
Is it me?
Yeah, you're a fee ordinance lady. You
So,
wanna add?
no, I didn't draft this one. But generally what happens is if somebody asks for a fee ordinance change, then the clerk's office sends an email to all department heads indicating we're going through the process again, let us know if you have any changes. And Kathy then put together the proposed fee ordinance amendment that's in front of you.
Now, if you notice on the residential rental property fee, this is the, how the fees, there was an explanation of the fees that, of course, this is not going to be necessarily the published document, but this is going to be, that information was there for the board to review because we do have to have the means to substantiate how we come to our fees. And our fees with this base and other communities are very fair and equitable. We have a neighboring community that does $100 a year, I believe, and we are $150 for 4 years, if I'm not mistaken.
For 1 and 2 family, yes.
Yeah, so we do have, it's fair and equitable. Of course, this refers to our residential rental property program. Any questions from the board? Okay, looking for a motion?
I'll make a motion to move to second reading.
I'll support myself. And we have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you. A and D are complete. Moving on to item B. Show cause hearing for March 17th, 2020 for 1111 Round Lake Road. At this time, I would like to set a show cause hearing for that date for the building at that address. So the action that we are going to take at tonight's meeting is just merely to set that meeting date. So I'm looking for motion and support.
Make a motion to support the request for the Round Lake Road property
Show cause hearing.
show cause hearing.
Looking for support. Support from Andrea. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Is that the Mamma Mia's?
No, Mamma Mia's is gone. And that's not on Round Lake Road.
Good question, Rick. How many times have,
White Lake either.
how many times have we seen this building?
Plenty,
Yeah.
but we gotta go through the process. So the last time down this road.
Thank goodness.
Okay? Therefore, we will have a show cause meeting at our regular scheduled board meeting of March 17th, 2020 for 1111 Round Lake Road. Thank you.
At least 3 times I've seen this building.
Next item is request to approve bid for a new website, which is also ADA compliant, has all this stuff. And it is the website that we discussed at our special board meeting that we feel is most beneficial. If you take a look at your packet, yours will be on, you'll see the second sheet, which has all the contractual information there regarding that matter. So, and for that, I would like to introduce my lovely assistant, Pergament,
Good evening.
who is the great asset to the township, by the way, and has helped us put this together and done a lot of research on this information, and I want to tell you that I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, good evening. I'm here to just discuss a new township website. We've had a desire for a while by the employees for a more slick municipal website that has more to offer residents and the employees. We quoted 3 companies. It was Municode, Revise, and Granicus. We held some demos here. We set up a committee to discuss what we liked, what we didn't like. And I'm here to recommend Municode to develop this website for the following reasons. Municode has 67 plus years experience and over 4,500 municipal clients. They currently already host our code of ordinances. Because of the fact that they do that, residents and township employees would be able to perform a unified search across all platforms, website, meetings, online codes. While you can perform searches in pretty much any website, they do not have as robust a search feature as Municode. With this company, you'll be able to pinpoint a topic in a meeting, for example, that you saw, maybe it's dog tags, and you'll be able to drill down and actually find that meeting that we discussed the dog tags in and find the item that you're looking for. Same thing all across the website. And because they host our ordinances, you'll be able to do that with the code of ordinances too. Other companies that I've looked at, you would pull up a search and you might get a bunch of Google things, and you may get a few things from their site, but it doesn't have the metadata to link it as in depth as this company can do. They also offer a meetings app that is more than just storing agendas and minutes and videos. It would allow us to work within the site to create our meetings, less manual operations of sending things back and forth, and when done, we would push this out to the site for the residents and everyone to view. This will save time internally and for all of our various different boards that we have. And this app also will give us an option to vote online during meetings if we so choose. We don't have to, but we can and streamline that. In addition, in the next few months, Municode will have a new feature in which our ordinances, once adopted, will be able to be auto-published from the meetings app platform to our online code that they already host. So that's an additional feature of eliminating a manual step. So having said that, my recommendation is to go with Municode and to include the meetings app.
Okay, very good. The meetings app would be very important, and the interesting thing that you brought up, and I know that you brought to my attention, was that the search engine on that is really specific to our
It's
our
very,
site.
yeah, robust and specific.
And specific to our site only, and that's, that's not something that, frankly, I didn't think about when you're going to look at something like that, but it makes a lot of sense. When people are coming to our website, they want to look at what we are all about.
And we'll have the ability to upload the past 10 years of meetings, so if it'll all be connected to that feature. So when you're searching history, like sometimes we go in there when we're performing work and we're looking for something, and we have to go online and look at every little thing. It'll drill down into those much easier and pull that data.
Make it a little easier also in the event of FOIA requests and things of that nature, which is unfortunately.
Yeah, it'll let residents do more on their own.
Yeah, that's true.
And it has all the other features that every other nice site has, linking to social media and all that other good stuff, and, being able to do fillable forms and, have we can utilize it more fully for like community development and all kinds of things.
So the Municode is about 24% more than the next company, but has much more features. Although I noticed that the web docs they have is limited, and theirs comes in at 403, and we have roughly 27.
Yeah, I didn't explore that further. We would have an additional charge with them, more than what that 11,790 is, because they are not transferring all of our data for that amount.
Okay.
But with these other features, both the sites they both have beautiful sites, but they can't do what Municode can do for us.
And the fact that it's already integrated to our code of ordinances, which is a big plus. Any questions from the board? Mr. Ruggles?
Yeah, so thanks, Trish, for the meeting. Mike Paul and I were able to get with her and have a 2.5 hour robust session going over this website.
fun.
So it was informational. I mean, I'm sold on Municode there. Only question I have is, so 4-year commitment. Do we know what happens at the end of the 4 years?
Yeah, at the end of the 4 years, they have, it said, their quote said, the annual host and support fees year 5 will increase according to the previous year ending consumer price index for all urban consumers. It would be probably, I can't tell you exactly what it would be, but
Not
for
enormous.
example, they did not raise our ordinances, I think they said for like 11 years, and then it was a minimal increase. So I would expect it to be similar unless, there's some very unusual thing. We own, with Municode though, we own our website. So if we didn't like something, there's companies that are out there that will host your site for you. You could start, going out to bid, but I don't expect that is going to be an issue.
Okay, thanks.
They're a preferred vendor. There's quite a few municipalities around us that use them.
Yeah, they just finished a site for Heartland, I believe. You can go take a look at that one.
They showed us that in the meeting.
Yeah.
They did. Any other questions from the board?
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Roman?
As someone that works in the ADA world, I'm excited to have our website ADA compliant. I didn't have the opportunity to see an ADA compliant on my coworker's low vision computer, but from that world, I'm excited to have a ADA compliant website.
I didn't even realize it was a thing, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Until now. So.
I even educated someone on that.
Yeah,
I go, is your
it's new
website
to
ADA
me.
compliant? And they looked at me like, what?
Yeah, I think of sidewalks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have devices that they use that they hook up to the machine, to the computer to read things or audio for them or whatever. So it'll be able to do that.
I'm just really looking forward to this much needed update. I think it will be so helpful to our residents and staff, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, and one of the ideas that I had to increase people coming to our site, and they can see how, once we get this up and running, how much easier it is. They do some things where they do contests for the photos that'll be on there, and just generate some excitement, and maybe do that every now and then, and it'll really increase the traffic to the site too, so people can see what it has to offer.
Mr. Roman?
Trish, do we own our website now that IT Right?
I'm assuming we do, but I really don't know the answer to that question.
Have we asked IT Right if they can make our current website
I mentioned it to
ADA
them last
compliant?
year. I didn't ask them about that, but they're not. I asked them about whether they're even interested in. I don't think that they're super interested in websites so much.
IT Right?
Yeah, and I don't know that they. I'm not sure what their capabilities are, doing more than what they have right now.
Okay.
So.
Question for council. In your training and seminars and conferences, have you run across the need for ADA compliancy on websites? No?
No.
Okay. So I can only speak from my department. For my department, what we have works great. It's got all the links we need. You can pay your taxes through our current website. And this new proposal, it's about 10 times what we pay now annually. Sean, are you convinced you'll get the value you want out of it from a planning perspective?
We put obviously lots of packets together in our department, and I think that's one of the features that I'm looking most forward to with this new website is that it will all be, rather than, without boring you all to death, we have to send PDFs over to IT right now, and then they sort of create our hyperlinked agenda, which you can see on the screen behind you. They do that, and whatever method they use, we don't really participate. We send it all to them really at their mercy with timing and how it all comes together. So this, I think, will give us some more user-friendly control over how it looks, how it goes up, what the content is, and it will allow each department that has to put information into a packet to do this. So like every department sends Trish their stuff for board packets. So I'll be able to go in and send her stuff through the website, and she'll be able to kind of arrange the agenda so it works for everyone, and it's easier for each department to get the information to her, easier for her to process it when she gets it, And so that'll be for every board packet and for us, every planning commission, ZBA, parks meeting. So I think that we'll probably get quite a bit of use out of it. I've never used a website quite like this, but I've sat through the demo too and was involved at the committee level, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
I have another comment. Last year, before the interim chief came on board, the fire department was looking at doing a new site. So I know the police chief's interested in kind of having a new site. The thing that this allows us also to do is not just have things the way they are, but it's to totally create a new presence, a whole passport page. I mean, things for our residents to go out there that is user-friendly, to do more for the customer that wants to self-service themselves. This is a chance to redesign everything and have it look the way we want it to look, not the way it looks now.
So it's my understanding, it's, as Sean was saying, it's much more than just a website. It
Yeah.
has like a back office, if you will, that our
Yes.
staff can
Yeah,
use.
we will be able to do that
So
on our own.
That, to me, that's really important. It's more productive and efficient for our staff. I'm really interested in the user-friendly aspect for our residents. We owe that to them to come up with technology, and surrounding communities certainly have. The only thing that this presentation didn't touch on for us, what we all talked about afterwards, was adding, being able to pay
Right.
things online. So I just want to mention that their presentation didn't include that.
I
to us,
didn't
but we
include
all-
it because
it was kind of
reason-
like we all understood that they had the capabilities of doing that, but that wasn't included in the
I didn't include it because we would have to contract still with a point and pay or something. So that is, yes, we
I just
definitely.
want to bring it up.
Yep,
that,
have the
residents
ability
would
to do that.
Be aware that hopefully that would be part of our goal in all of this, that they could pay for things online.
Yes. Yeah, we can use it as more of a total workflow, because you'll be able to, for example, the building department can receive an application for something. If they need more info, they can send it back. They can send it back to them, and then they can tell them what they owe, and they can pay for it if we set up a third-party payment online, and they can do everything online instead of coming in. Now, that's for the person that wants to do it all online. That's not for everyone. But some people want that feature.
Yeah, I just noticed, Mr. Roman, you made a comment a few minutes ago about the fee. It actually costs us almost $1,100 a year currently, and would go to $6,400 a year, so it's be 6 times as much.
Okay, so the current quote includes police then?
It includes police and fire.
Okay,
So it
6
would,
times
yeah,
10,
so
right?
if they were gonna come back and say, we wanna make a new website, and you're gonna pay, whatever, $6,000, let's say, to do a new fire department website, and then if the chief says, I want a new website, and he's gonna pay, $6,000, you're already at $12,000 for just their websites.
If you remember at the demonstration, they had those enhanced pages, which turn into this, we'll call side sites, but yet they were very comprehensive. They had all the information that you could possibly ever want to put out there. So to me, it's all going to be under one roof. And it'll be one technology. Did they offer any shorter term agreement, or?
I don't know that you'd really want a shorter term one. I mean, this locks you into that fee for the 4 years, so I'm not sure that that's beneficial then to say, okay, it's 2 years and now we might raise your price because you only did a 2 year.
I really want to redesign
Yeah,
in 2 years. I
so-
was just curious that they did. Mr. Roman?
Sure, I just wanted your opinion on this new website idea and how it would help the building department.
I can tell you that I get a lot of requests, and they are getting more frequent for people who want to know if they can apply via a website. So right now, if they can't come in, if they're a contractor that's an hour away, we give them the option to print everything off and mail in a check. But there are a lot that ask if they can go online and complete their application that way.
Okay. And just so the board knows, the last time we looked into point and pay was a number of years ago, at a point in time where they could not integrate with our system. However, that was before we had BSNA. But then the final nail in the coffin with point and pay was our attorneys. When they looked at the contract with point and pay,
Imagine that.
it came back with more yellow than white.
Don't a lot of municipalities
Lisa won't do
use
that
point
again.
and pay?
Okay.
Don't a lot of municipalities use point and pay?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's becoming more common,
Pretty
and
generally
hopefully they've
accepted,
changed. Hopefully they've
right?
changed their contract.
No? Common practice?
Oh, no.
That was in like 2014.
That was a number of years ago. So,
Well, I'm
but
sure
we
there's
would
been
be
some-
more than happy to revisit it.
Revisit it.
And I have a lot of people, and I try to let them know ahead of time when they come to pick up their permit. I'll send them an email that it's cash or check payable to the township, and if they haven't gotten that information, they show up a lot of times with no cash or check, because
Yeah.
they can pay their credit card, and they have to come back at
Yep.
another time or go to the ATM.
That does seem, to me, it just seems
Yeah.
unbelievable that we're,
And
this is us.
We get
Yeah.
that a lot,
You know.
so.
Yeah, we need to move into the next.
Another thing that we didn't touch on, but just I'll quickly mention, is they can have employee pages for us in the background, where, so we can use this for a lot. We can, log into the back end and have our policy manual and HR, all kinds of stuff there, and link things in there. So if we ever automated our payroll, for example, so we did it on the computer instead of paper, you could link that in there and log in there and find all that data in one place as an employee on the back end too.
Yeah, I believe it offers the township a longer-term solution to the things that we're gonna need as we grow. Because we can put a park and rec page in there, we can do all these different types of things. And
You can put all your township properties, I mean, you can have a project, page, so.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? I'd like to entertain a motion from someone, other than myself. Somebody say something. Oh, Andrea's writing stuff down.
I'm not for this.
Okay.
That's my thoughts.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ruggles.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid for the new ADA compliant website. The quote here for Muni Code, total first year not to exceed $20,900, a 4-year commitment, hosting fee with meetings app of $6,400.
Support.
I have a motion and I have support. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Trish, thank you very much for all your work. Okay. Request to approve, initiate litigation for 10-325 Highland Road. Counselor?
I just wanna, not to embarrass you, but your memo is dated October 15.
Well, things just,
I just wanted to make sure the record's clear that it was
I don't know how the
probably,
heck that happened.
it might have been another time you requested litigation.
Yeah.
We put everything in this memo. I'm happy to talk about it if you want me to talk about it. The only update I can add is that I did have a conversation with an attorney representing the property owner who, we exchanged a few emails, but the nuts and bolts of it is he believes that the tenant is responsible for a lot of the items and not the owner, including the certificate of occupancy requirement. He also indicated that that we can't demonstrate any issues with the storm sewer issues, and also he indicated that the repairs to the roof, according to his reading of the building code, were minor maintenance and did not require a building permit. And my response was, it doesn't sound like we're gonna be able to resolve this short of litigation, and so this is on the township board agenda. And that's where I've left it with him at this point.
Okay. Questions from the board? Mr. Lilly?
I'll make a motion to approve supervisor's request for litigation for the property located at 10325 Highland Road.
Thank you. I have a motion, look for support.
Support.
I have support from Andrew Voorhees. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you, Sherry. Okay, item 9F, revised cost participation agreement with the Fulton County Road Commission, Grass Lake Road. As all of you remember, we were able to secure a MEDC grant for an improvement of that particular section of road. Project was actually supposed to take off last year. There was a few items that they had to get through, and there was some additional soils testing, and they came back and did some further engineering and found out that it was going to cost more than what they had originally initially anticipated. No surprise there. So that being said, I had some conversation with the road commission and told them that our commitment from the township was strictly limited to the state grant funds at this time, and that would be as far as this board would take it. And they went back and they felt that the project is important enough and will make enough of an impact in that area for public safety and improvement of the road that they have decided to come up with the additional funds on their end. So all this is doing is putting us now into that agreement, of which we were in the first part of it was our grant that we had received, which was with the state. The first agreement we were in had some engineering fees in it, and pretty much was just that. So our remaining monies of 1.4 that we have would go directly to the Road Commission of Oakland County, and they would finish the project to the cost of $2.1,050,000. Any questions from the board? Mr. Lilly.
Mr. Supervisor, just to be consistent with our conversation between you and I and Mike this afternoon in regarding to this resolution, that I wanted to be clear that even though that the request of the road commission is asking for additional money, that really they're talking about additional money from the proceeds of the original grant that you had obtained specifically for Grass Lake Road, and not to be misconstrued as the previous conversation that a lot of the residents had asked if, because of the funding for this particular project, if there was going to be an additional general fund revenues for this project. And I want it to be clear, just to make sure that you were correct in your statement that this is only requesting the additional funds from the grant money.
Correct.
And not from the general fund. So
Correct.
I just want that to be clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lilly. Mr. Roman.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the cost participation agreement for construction of the Grass Lake Road improvement.
I have a motion to adopt.
I'll support.
I have support. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, next item comes before us every year. It's to approve the Oakland County Tri-Party Agreement, which of course is the money that we collectively put together to be able to supply gravel for our roads. And about 70% of the roads in the township still remain gravel and are in much need of attention. I'm very fortunate the Road Commission has done a very, very good job in the last few years in our community. And this will allow them to continue to do that. We are up from last year. My memory seems to go somewhere right around $30,000 or $40,000. So there has been an increase. So it will get us a little more gravel, but of course, because of all the construction going on, and that assorted gravel's gotten more expensive. So we may at the end of the day end up breaking even, but it's moving in the right direction. Any questions from the board members? Okay, that I will look for a motion to approve. I'll make the motion. I make a motion to approve the 2020 Gravel Road Program, the Cost Participation Agreement, more commonly known as a Tri-Party, Board Project 55652, and our amount of participation would be $59,189.
I'll support your motion.
Motion, I have support. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Item G, request to approve a collective bargaining agreement addendum. As you know, we had conversation with our labor attorney and the unions, and all of our unions in particular were at, I believe, a 2.5%, at a 2.5% rate, I believe, and this would bring the unit of government here that is the employees that work and the union and non-union employees that work here up to the same level of raises that the other individuals had, and there was discussion on the board. It would be a show of good faith to go into the bargaining for our new contracts, which will be this year. And I believe we do have some very deserving employees here in this building. And I do not feel that this impact will be minimal. Mr. Roman did give us some numbers at the time, and it was a minimal amount of money, and it is not retroactive. It starts the next pay period after the approval of this agreement. Anyone remember, or I mean, sorry, anybody have any further questions on that conversation that we had earlier or anything?
Nope.
Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion. I'm looking to request or approve the collective bargaining agreement addendum.
I'll make
Go ahead.
a motion to approve the collective bargaining agreement addendum.
I have a motion, looking for support.
Support.
That motion, support, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it.
Mr. Supervisor,
Yes,
before we
sir.
go on to further, I'd like to, just for a minute, go back to the agreement for the Grass Lake. I failed in my, in the motion to suggest that authorize the supervisor to sign the cost participation agreement.
Small
To
technicality.
that, so I'd
yeah.
like to, I guess, make a second motion to that matter to authorize the supervisor to sign.
We will return to item, thank you, 9F, excuse me, 9F, and as an addendum to that motion,
I think Mike made the original motion on that. I can either amend the motion or to a secondary motion to just authorize the supervisor to sign, whichever.
I'll
you
amend the
prefer.
motion to add the supervisor's signature, or to allow the supervisor to sign.
Well,
If
if
you're
you want to
gonna-
do it technically, your parliamentarian here is telling you, motion's already been made, so you would want to, if you want to amend your motion, you can still do that, but since the township's already voted, you would have to vote on amending the motion before you actually vote on the amended
so
motion.
let's just make a new motion.
Okay, what does that mean?
You vote on the voting to vote.
You would have to first vote to amend, and then vote on the amended motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to amend my vote.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and I would like to make a motion to approve that Grass Lake, what letter was it, guys? 9F. Motion to approve the cost participation agreement with Oakland County on Grass Lake Road and allow the supervisor to sign the agreement.
I'll support.
Motion and support, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All of you, okay. Okay, under 10, Resolution 20005, non-union employee and elected official wage. This is a mirror image of the request to approve the collective bargaining agreement addendum that goes into the non-union employees and the elected officials in-house. So I'm looking for any questions or comments on that.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 20-005, the
Okay,
employee elected official wage.
I have a motion to approve, looking for support. I have support from Manny Voorhees, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, all ayes have it. Resolution, oh, these are always fun. 20004, Cedar Island Lake Canadian Goose Roundup. Sounds like a rodeo.
Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Cedar Island Lake Canadian Geese Roundup resolution number 20-004, and also indicate within the document that it does say that the geese may be euthanized, but that is all standard language that cannot be amended from the DNR.
Thank you. I have a motion, looking for support. Support. I have support from Mr. Ruggles. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay. FYI. FYI. Be Counted Michigan 2020. The 2020 census is upon us. And one of the things that everybody needs to know out there is it is very, very important that you are counted. This is not an act that comes along with any threat of anybody being documented or undocumented or things of that sort. It's just a matter of who lives in our community, because there are literally billions of dollars that go out there from the federal government over the years in between a 10-year period that get delegated to communities by their population. So it's extremely important that when someone comes to your door, and hopefully they don't even come to your door, because hopefully you'll answer it by mail when it's in your mail, but you will cooperate with this. This is not information that Big Brother's looking over your shoulder. The census has been done since 1790 something or whatever it is. I think the first census was in this country. I can't remember. I should know that. And that we need to make sure that we all count, because Michigan is in competition for every other state in the United States for federal dollars, and this is one way that will help us unlock some of those dollars. So it's very important. So if you want to find out more information about the census or to get involved, please go to www.michigan.gov/census2020, and there will be a ton of information in there that you can look at. And if in the event that we have individuals out there that might want something to do, or they're retired and they don't have a lot to do, there's jobs out there that will pay in Oakland County between $22 and $24.50 an hour. They're part-time, they're flexible. Students, seniors, retired seniors, or anyone looking for flexible employment is welcome to apply. To apply for a census job, please visit 2020census.gov/en/job-details. Ooh, that's a long one. Just call 1-855-JOB-2020. Again, 1-855-JOB-2020. And they will get you the information. It's very important that you get involved in it. I have someone here that would like to speak.
Yes, I was going to ask your indulgence, Mr. Supervisor, to reopen public comment for a few minutes.
Well, I guess maybe we could make a sign.
She can talk about FYI.
Yeah, that's FYI. We talked
An
about
FYI then, okay.
Okay.
That's what I'm here to do. I became aware on the county commission of a grant. It's an MEDC grant. It's called Public Spaces Community Places. It's a very unique grant. Andrea's nodding her head. Maybe she knows about it. It's 50% crowdfunding based. And as of yet, White Lake Township is not one of the certified communities, but you can obviously look into this and find out about it. And these grants are anywhere up to, they'll match $50,000 of grants. They can be used for such things as, what is it here? Oh, streetscape beautification and walkability, public plaza development, things like farmers markets, park enhancements, seeing as what we have going on with our new park, band shells and amphitheaters, community theater rehabilitation, and any other, you can, even for statuary, or I'm sure playscapes would fit into that whole thing too. So I just thought it was another great tool that you could have in your toolbox to help fund some things that we have coming up. And I think that people want to buy into the community, and therefore they'd be happy to, go online and give their support for something like this. So I just wanted to make sure you knew about it, and I'll give this material to Sean to hang on to. And I also wanted to say congratulations to Scott Ruggles for being Oakland County's one of 40 and 40.
Thank you.
40 under 40. Thank you, that's it.
Thank you.
What's that?
You stole something out of
What's
my,
the
off
40,
my
40?
list.
I did.
Oh, no, it's.
Like 40 home runs, 40 RBIs.
Would you like me to talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Actually,
talk
Scott, give us
trustee comment.
you want to talk about in your comments? We'll give you an
Yeah,
extra
trustee
minute.
comment, sure.
But Scott was right there, and it's an interesting, at the Oakland County, state of the county, there has been historically
I did.
40 individuals that are brought forth, and generally 40 under 40. And it's for something that they're doing good, something they're doing the best at. And Scott actually, if you start to look out there, really is one of the only major farmers kind of left in Oakland County here. So some of the business things that he's doing, that he's getting involved in.
Now what are you gonna talk about in your trustee comments?
How great I am.
And it was a real feather in White Lake Township's hat to have him put on there. So, okay, well now we go to our trustee comments, and Ms. Smith.
Okay. The next library board meeting is Wednesday, March 25th at 6:45 p.m. I attended a lovely memorial service in January to honor Larry Ostrowski, our former past library director, and I just want to thank the community. It was a wonderful turnout and a wonderful celebration of Larry's life. So thank you for all who attended and shared a story or a fond memory of Larry. The Friends of the Library are planning a tea on Sunday, May 31st. There's more information on their Facebook and the library website if you're interested in attending. And there is still time to donate to our police department team for the Polar Plunge on Saturday, February 22nd. I believe Officer Connell is in third place, right? Fifth place. Sergeant Connell's in 5th place, and he is hoping to get at least in the top 3. So if you'd like to donate, and that goes for Special Olympics. And then I just, of course, want to remind our community to please vote on March 10th. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrea.
Social Club of White Lake. Different kids with different abilities. Really fun activity that I was able to attend. Susan Vanderweel's a very active whippersnapper who keeps us entertained for a couple of hours. So if you want to hang out with them, you have to, do some background checks because you're hanging out with different kids with different abilities. Fun time. Second Saturday of every month at Dublin Community Center. I also was able to attend Larry Ostrowski's memorial service. I wasn't able to do the Ohio version, but yeah, it was nice. White Lake Township had a nice showing there. And today it was great. I love it when my job does this. I was able to have the day off to watch the controlled burn of the house on Elizabeth Lake Road. Cold day, warm fire, made for a fun day. So, next, whoever, I'm all set.
Very good. Mr. Ruggles.
Yeah. So as Supervisor mentioned earlier, Oakland County has a program, so the Elite 40, under 40. So you can nominate yourself, or others can nominate you for this election, and they have a couple different panels of individuals that review the applications, and they select those that have made an impact on their community, went out of their way to better the place they live or be a leader in some shape or form. And I don't think this is the first time I've been nominated. So as far back as 3 years ago, I'd go somewhere and I'd see somebody that I do business with or I'm friends with, and they'd say, "Hey, did you win?" I say, "Win what?" I say, "Oh, I nominated you." Well, I didn't know. So I'd never get any correspondence from the county or no idea that they were doing this, but I never won. So it went on, and Carol would do it too, and she'd send me an email and say, "Hey, I nominated you." Like, what's going on? So years and years, and so I was home and I'm thinking, okay, so I know the nomination period's open. I'm gonna fill one out for myself this time, because maybe if I tell maybe if I tell my own story, they'll understand it a little better.
That.
So yeah, I did. I don't think I was the only one though. There had to be a bunch of other people. I don't think you can win on your own account. So
Do they have a 60-60 too?
They're
I
coming
think
up with, they're working on it.
actually Dave mentioned it. Dave, yeah. So yeah, I was selected, and I was pretty surprised. I mean, there's so few, right? And the list of people that were selected is pretty prestigious. I mean, there's a lot of impressive people there. So I was invited to the state of the county my first time, and Shelby and I went, and it was a fantastic evening. I saw Mrs. Cowell on stage. Got to have a meet and greet with the Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, and yeah, so it's an honor, and I've been invited to a number of different events that the county's putting on for the people they selected, the 40 of us. So we'll be involved in a bunch of different leadership exercises where we go to the county building and speak with different people. So I'm not sure how many, but there's one next week on Thursday that at 6:30. So I'm sure there'll be quite a few, but I'll keep you updated on how it goes. So.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Roman.
Thanks, Rick. Well, Scott, I got to tell you, I have always been honored to work with you, and I've been fortunate enough to actually see Scott's operation, a lot of it. He took me out to harvest corn, and I got to tell you, it's an amazing thing that you do. In my eyes, you help feed America, so thank you. Debit and credit cards. White Lake Township, we had a record number of debit and credit card payments this year for property taxes. Out of 13,000 parcels, I know we had well over 500 payments using our debit and credit cards. For those of you that don't know about it, if you look on the back of your tax bills, there's all kinds of valuable information. One of being that tells you how to make your tax payments using Oakland County's G2G system. And White Lake actually gets a little tiny piece of the fee that Oakland County generates. It's out there, it's available, and again, use it. I just wanted to talk about House Bill 5229 again. It hasn't gone away. Just to remind everybody, as this House bill is written, it would allow up to 5 mills to be used towards a mass transit system that will not directly benefit any of White Lake Township. For those of you that want to get an idea of the numbers, if your house has a taxable value of $150,000, 5 mills would amount to $750 a year. This could potentially go on for 20 years. What can we all do? My suggestion, and I'm asking you all to do this, call your friends in Oakland County. They probably don't know about House Bill 5229. That's all I had, Rick.
Very good. Mr. Lilly?
Thank you. I wanted to talk a little bit about Scott, but everybody kind of already did it. But I remarked when he came in tonight how nice he looked, and he did inform me that he would like to be introduced as Mr. Ruggles now instead of Scott. So. And that was all right. I like Scott. So,
Thanks.
Records. We have the library now. The basement of the library is going to be used for records. Hopefully by next meeting, all of those file cabinets and that storage stuff up there will be gone. Maybe look more like a meeting room instead of storage facility. And that is going to be true almost all the way through the township hall before we're done. So I just, a lot of records that are in the garage are going to be gone in another week or so. So we're going to make a real concerted effort to get those in the basement and start getting them sorted. Ballots are really coming in. Everybody knows or should know that we have no reason absentee voting now, so a lot of people are just voting absentee. So we're really busy day in and day out. We're not even going to get through this election, and we're going to start into our May election already. So also just let everybody know that we have been short one full-time person in our offices, and beginning tomorrow we'll be doing our interviews. So other than that, I'm in good shape. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Oh, boy. Okay. First of all, you know, I would like to take a moment, because I don't think it's been done yet, to recognize someone who's making an impact in our community, and that is getting things out there to people in a way of which I really now can actually read something and digest it. Cindy, can you stand up? This is Cindy Dubin. Cindy is our reporter from the Spinal Column. And I will tell you that I appreciate the fact that you write the stories the way that you do, and that you actually get to the facts, and you write as a professional writer. And I will tell you that as a supervisor, it's great to read what actually happened in my township, thinking that I read something that may have happened in somebody else's township, because I don't know that the facts get all jostled around. So I want to give you my gratitude and tell you that I appreciate your work. Thank you. Next thing, WOTA is running nicely up since January 2nd. We've had our meetings every 2 weeks. Moving on, Wall Lake is now taking a peek at what we're doing, and they're going to be sitting in on one of our meetings to take a look at potentially getting on board the proverbial bus. So we'll see where that goes. Little by little, we're getting things more and more organized over there, but it seems to be fairly successful. I have not received any complaints, neither has Waterford, neither has Highland. So I know we've had a few issues, but as in setting up any kind of organization, and now that we have that large population area of excess of 100,000 residents, there's a lot of people that need to be serviced. And seeing as that is something that we're doing and being successful at, we had recently received an invitation to come down to the county executive's office and meet with Hillary, the chief, she's the county,
Chambers.
Thank you, Hillary Chambers, the county executive deputy. And the group from that organization that are the Pro 5229 people and the Pro Transit. And they were asking our group, which is the WOTA group, which is comprised of Rick Hamill, Gary Wall, and myself, as to how we were doing it and what we were doing it, and what its costs were and its effectiveness. Don't make me laugh, Jim. Okay. And it's just a matter of trying to get that information out there. And they are looking at different ways. I agree with Mike. I'm not real keen on this 5229. I don't like, it doesn't smell right. And if it usually doesn't, it's something's not quite right. So we'll have to find our way through the woods on that, but everybody needs to be aware of it, because we all pay a considerable amount of tax now, and adding that kind of tax to your home right now could be burdensome for some people, and could be the difference between some people staying in their home and affording their home in White Lake or any community here locally and not moving out. We've been very busy, as you can tell, over at the Civic Center area, in particular the park area. The one house is gone. That was the test house that the fire department wanted to go after. They had a successful burn today, and got a lot of training in. We had firemen from Commerce, and I think there might have been one or two from Highland, but I'm not 100% sure. They came out and did that co-training. It was a home to have considered value for training because of the way that it was compartmentalized, and also the fact that it's not on a main thoroughfare, and the permit has to be granted through the state of Michigan, so we cannot just do this arbitrarily. There is a long, lengthy process, and we're going through it. So now the other home should be disappearing very shortly, and we'll continue to go forward and look into grants as such, and work with the community planning community development rather, to get that on the road.
Hey, Rick, I have a question.
Yes.
When will it be open to the public to go in there?
It will probably be open to the public, I'm going to say, for walkability only within 60 to 90 days. The things that we have to do, we have to mitigate any potential hazard, trip, fall, whatever things there that from the debris that was there. We had quite a few dumpsters, 40-yard dumpsters that came out of there. There was a lot of scratching around. We need to get down there when the frost comes up. Well, there's not a lot of frost on the ground, but when the snow's off the ground, and do some even grading and do some seeding, because I don't want anybody going down there and breaking an ankle walking across a rut that was caused by a machine while it was trying to pick up garbage. So we've got to get that in hand. But we're coming right to to the cusp of it, and with the houses both being gone and getting those areas graded off, the only thing we have to secure is our building down there that we're potentially going to rebuild for a storage facility, which we had an architect go down and do an inspection of the site and the building, and he felt it was absolutely worthy of renovation and saving. And he gave me a rough estimate that if we were to utilize that particular part that's there, we would probably save the township around $50,000. So there's nothing wrong with that. As mentioned, we are now in the annex, which is to the north of us. And in the annex, we're going through there and doing a few things. I'm pleased to announce that the water department will be moving over there because they are in an area that's, I don't think, as big as my garage was at my house. And they are going to see between a 20 and 25% increase in customers, and they are going to need to hire another technician and possibly another technical person from the water end of things. And frankly, have nowhere to put them. We'd be hanging them from the ceiling. Also, the fire department is locating its administrative offices in there, and amazing thing, the chief now has a bathroom. Okay, so life is good for the chief. So we will keep you posted on that, and that will also become our annex boardroom, that we will have the ability to have larger meetings, and as we get more involved in the civic center process and how we get that done, I believe we will attract more people. And I believe John said there's 170 or 180 people can go in there versus our whopping 76. So there'll definitely be an advantage to us. With that, I say, I thank all of you for coming tonight. All of you out there, thank you for having an interest. If you're not on our list to know what the agenda is at your board meeting, you should call my office and request to be put on that list. And that way, every month, you'll have a notification of the items that are on the agenda and that are going to be discussed. So with that, I say good night. God bless. Thanks for living in White Lake. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn. Looking for support. Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.